Welcome to Drawing 101. The materials that you'll need: one 4-inch pencil with eraser, drawing paper, willingness, and some perseverance. Now let's get started. And today we're going to be drawing faces, people's faces from different angles. And we can start first by drawing some lines here, and these lines just are really and truly just to get the symmetry of the person's face right. And the human face is not put together haphazardly, but it is very symmetrical and so on. So we're just going to draw in these lines here, and as the picture evolves, you'll see why these lines are important. Okay, this line here we'll use to give me some starting point where to draw the person's eyes. And most people's eyes are oval in shape, and the distance between them are usually, in terms of where the center of the nose is, and normally roughly the same length. And what I want you to do is just to take your pencil and your paper and just do as I do. Art is a practical something, and the more you do of it, the better you get. And if you want to get better at drawing, take a close, very close look at the human face. Look at yourself in the mirror, how your nose is shaped, how your ears are shaped, your hairline, your chin, and so on. And when you do these things, you get a great appreciation for what you're doing. And once you have got that mental picture of how a nose is supposed to shape an eye, a lips, and so on, and you have that mental picture up there, it's just a matter of transferring it to paper. I agree that there might be variations in the way people's eyes are, their noses, their lips, and so on, their ears, and so on, but generally faces are similar. Okay, and as I said from the beginning, they are very symmetrical. Okay, for example, if you look at the top of a person's eyes, they normally line up with the top of the person's ears, and the end of the person's ears normally line up with the bottom of the person's nose. And there are a lot of other features of the human face that are symmetrical like that, and all it needs is just close observation. So here I'm going to draw the ears, and you realize the top of my ears of this person I'm drawing here now lines up with the more or less the top of the person's eyes. And if you observe a person in reality, you should see the same very features. Yes, and most, as I said, most faces are oval in shape. There might again be variations in that. They might have a longish face, a face that is kind of a round, but for the most part, faces are oval, oval in shape. And once you recognize that, it is so much easier when you are drawing. But again, my style of drawing is that I look at a person's face in reality, I see how it is, and I try to transfer that mental picture onto paper. It takes some time to get the hang of it, but eventually, as I said, art drawing is a practical thing, and you have to practice. The more you practice, the better you get at it. And as you go on and you draw and you draw and draw, you find that your skills of drawing will improve tremendously. And don't try to draw the exact same thing I'm drawing, okay? Or you might be saying at this stage that your drawing doesn't look half as good as what I'm drawing here. But when I first started out, my drawing, my first portrait was terrible, okay? But I did not give up. I persevered. And one of the tools that I mentioned in the beginning that you need is perseverance. Art is a practical subject, as I said before, and you need to draw and draw and draw. And as you keep drawing, and you keep at it, you'll definitely improve to the stage where you are able to perfect whatever it is that you are doing. So let me draw these eyelashes. And one thing of a good artist is that he or she needs to pay close attention to details, and it's not only about just drawing an outline of an eye, but if you look closely at a person's eyes, you'll see that there are eyelids, and on these eyelids you'll see that there are eyelashes. Okay, so all these things you need to pay close attention to. Okay, so here I've put on the eyelids, and in this case the person's eyes are fairly wide open, so you're not going to see much of the person's eyelids. And then now you're going to put on the person's the eyelashes. Okay, again, this is paying attention to the detailing, and as we go on, I'll show you how to actually give your drawing a more lifelike appearance, even though that we're doing it in pencil. We're going to turn attention now to drawing the person's hair. You start by drawing the person's hairline. And again, there are variations in persons and their hairlines. Some people have a hairline that goes way back, and there's some who have a hairline that's pretty close to their foreheads. In this case, the person's hairline is pretty close to their foreheads. Just give the person little sideburns there. And now I'm going to hold the pencil at an angle, and I'm just going to shade in the area. I'm a black person, so I'm going to give that person a woolly type of hair as opposed to a straightish type. So I'm going to hold the pencil at an angle and just spin it in a circular motion to give me my curls. So I'm going to be just finishing up the hair very shortly. As I said, it's just a circular motion, holding the pencil at an angle, and I said carrying a circular fashion. If I wanted really big curls, I could probably take it out a bit, but in this case I want some very, very small little curls, so I just keep those circular movements very, very small. And now I'm going to turn my attention to drawing the person's ears. And again, if you observe people in reality, drawing ears will become extremely easy. And that's basically what it is. There are different variations in ears in the way that they look. Some ears actually hang off the person's head, and other ears are a part of the person's face. And again, you as an artist will decide how you're going to do that. But the lines and so on that you draw to actually make up the ear, again, observe a person in reality and practice drawing the ear. The other thing about drawing ears is that you need to ensure that the ears on both sides, that they are roughly the same. And as I said, you can get that done by using those lines to make sure that the top of the ears line up with the top of the person's eyes, and the bottom of the person's ears line up with the bottom of the person's nose. And if you do that on both sides, you should have no problem in keeping the ears roughly the same length. And what I'll be doing now is something I call smudging, okay? Because we just don't want to draw an outline of a person's face, but we want to give it some body, some texture, and so on. So I first start by using the pencil and to do some shadings. You know, when you look at a person's face again, there are parts of a person's face that are darker, and the other parts that are lighter, depending upon how the person is positioned in the light and so on, or how the person's face structure is. You find that along the cheekbones, particularly in black people, you find that a lot of them have high cheekbones, and that part of the person's face is usually very prominent. Top of the nose, going right down, that is also a part that is very prominent. Underneath the eyes are normally darker than in most cases, darker than the other parts of the body. So we want to add some body to this piece. We don't want it to just, as I said, to be just an outline of figure. So what I do, I said, I put in a little shading, and then once I have enough shadings, yes, there's also here some laugh lines. Okay, then once I have that figure shaded, I put down the pencil, and then I'll get my fingers, and I'll just start to rubbing back those pencil marks. Okay, and you see at the end of it that it actually has it actually resembles the reality of what a face should look like, because it actually gives it body, gives it texture, and so on. Okay. Again, it makes the face look more realistic. And it's just called simple smudging. Use your finger. You make the mark where you want the area to be dark. Because as I said, when a person is standing, there's certain parts of that person's face that will be dark. The other parts of that person's face that will not be so dark. So once you have determined those, you put in your markings, then you get your finger and you smudge your markings to have a certain effect. And the same thing can be done for the person's ears as well. We know that right down in the middle of the ear, your ear hole, as we call it, that area is normally darker because there's little light there. So in drawing a person, you can probably keep that area darker than the rest of the ear, and the other parts of the ear too that are dark. Because of how the ear is shaped, there's certain areas that will get light and other areas that will not get so much light. And then, based on that determination, then you'll be able to draw and to shade your ears to suit. But again, the thing is to get it to look as real as possible, and that is exactly what we are doing here. And just a note on this whole thing of smudging: when you are using the pencil, you're not going to use the tip of the pencil point. You're going to hold the pencil at an angle similar to what we did with the person's here, okay? And we're going to make we can do some shading, okay? But we're not going to use the tip of the pencil point because we don't want actual marks. We want something that when we rub our fingers onto it, it can give us a nice, smooth, and realistic finish. So our subject, our piece is about done, and I think it was a pretty good job. And at this instance, we're going to draw another face, but this time I'm not going to be using those lines that I used in the first drawing. Okay, I'm going to be starting, and as you can see, with the person's hair, and this person has a lot more hair than the first drawing that we did. Okay, remember at first I started with the eyes and so on, but this time I'm going to start with the hair. And as you get better at drawing, okay, you would soon find out that there's no need to use those lines because you would have been able to master that skill, so that if you draw ears, your ears will almost automatically line up with your eyes, as you will see here in this piece I'm doing. But the key to this whole thing is practice, 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 and of course some perseverance. You need to persevere, because sometimes you draw something and it doesn't come out the way you want it to come out at first, but keep persevering. And in this piece here that I'm doing, the eyes of this person in comparison to the other person's eyes, these eyes are longer, okay? And you realize that the other piece that I did, the eyes are rounder, okay? This particular subject, the eyes are a lot longer. And again, that is the reality. There are different variations of the human eye. but as I said, essentially they have that same oval shape. And this nose is also going to be slightly different from the one that I drew before. This person's nose is kind of longer and broader, okay? And you're also going to note some differences in the mouth as well, and the person's lips as well. And a good artist can spot straight away in people the different variations in terms of a person's features. And this person has a larger mouth, thicker lips than the first piece, okay? So again, a good artist must be able to spot these things. And a way of improving your drawing, particularly when it comes to drawing faces, is to draw faces with these variations, okay? There are persons whose lips are roundish, okay? There are other persons who have some lips that are longish. There's persons who have some very thin lips, who have some very thick lips, okay? You need to practice drawing these different variations, even the person's eyebrows, okay? There's some persons who have, some people cut their eyebrows, women cut their eyebrows. There's some people who have very thick eyebrows, other persons who have very thin eyebrows. So you need to be able to pick this up and to practice drawing the different variations. It will help you along the way if you want to master this art of drawing faces. And the next thing that we're going to be looking at is not only drawing a face, but we're gonna draw neck, shoulders, hands, and feet. But at this stage, we're not going to go into detail like drawing fingers and feet just as yet. You have to get some sort of an appreciation for the human body. And again, it comes through observation, close observation, paying attention to detail, okay? As I said, a person's face, normally oval in shape. We have that oval shape. We come down, we draw the neck. We're now drawing the person's shoulders. We're going to put some clothes on this fella or on this lady. You have to wait and see who it will become in the end. So we're drawing figure. I just said oval face, neck. Person has a shirt. Put on some collar on the person. And we're going to come down here and we're going to draw the person's shirt. Again, drawing to me is simply looking at drawing people's faces, drawing people's bodies, and so on. It's just a matter of observing people and seeing what their body structure and so on is, and trying to take that mental picture and put it on paper. That is my method. Other people have different methods. That is how I do my thing, how I transfer reality onto paper, particularly when it comes to drawing faces and people. Okay, and this guy, he has his hands. Oh, I gave it away. It's a guy, okay, and he has his hands behind his back. Okay, so all you need to do is to watch the video over and over again. Do as I do, you understand, and as I said, you'll improve tremendously. Okay, but as I said, art is about practice. You need to practice your drawing over and over and over, and then eventually you'll be able to perfect whatever it is that you are doing. And now I'm going to turn my attention to the person's face. I'm going to give them some hair, as you can see, put in the ears, and at this stage you should have some idea of what I'm doing, because you've already done a number of faces, I believe. Okay, I'm going to draw the person's eyes now. Nose. And this person has a really big nose. And the lips. Very small lips. And our drawing is finished. So let's give that person's hair some color. Again, I'm just spinning the pencil in a circular fashion, giving the person some nice curly hair. And we're now finished. Definitely finished. And all along we've been drawing males, okay? But let's turn our attention now to drawing a female, okay? And I'm going to start with the persons that they're here, okay? And this person has some very long hair, so I start with that. Very long hair, long and flowing. And that is the first thing I do, you know. Then I come down, I draw the person's neck, I come out with their shoulders. And again, because I'm not going to be focusing at this stage, drawing fingers, I'm going to put this person's, put their hands probably on this side. Like I said, I'm not going to be focusing too much on the fingers of the person and the toes and so on, because again, that is a drawing class in itself, okay? But again, having an appreciation for reality and how women look can help you in your drawing. You know, women usually fill with curves, okay? So here we have our figure being very curvaceous, okay? We've already have the outline for the hair and so on. Just going to do some filling in here. And as you can see, our figure is taking shape. And as I said, all you need to do is just to watch the video and do as I do, practice hard, and you eventually get to the stage where you are able to perfect whatever it is that you are doing. Again, and I keep saying it over and over, you have to have an appreciation for reality, how people look in reality. Pay attention to the detail. The hands of women are usually smaller. As I said, they're filled with curves. You can see a bit of cleavage there in the chest area. Women's faces are also slightly different from men. So again, you have to pay attention to those things, okay? And when you're drawing, as I said, just a matter for me transferring the mental picture you have of reality and putting it on paper. And I think our drawing is about done. And I think she looks very, very beautiful. All along, we've been drawing people from a frontal position. But what about from a side-on view? What I normally do is start with the person's forehead first. And again, persons have different types of foreheads, their variation. But you draw the forehead first, you come down, you draw the person's nose, and this person has a very large nose, as you can see. It's also a bit pointed. Then I come out here and I draw the person's their lips. Okay. From the lips, then I'll go on and draw the person's chin. And again, the same principle holds. Okay, the person's their nose must line up again with the top of their eyes. The top of the person's ears must line up with the top of their eyes, and the end of the ears must line up with the person's nose. Here we're going to give this person some hair, a lot of hair. Okay, again, the same basic principle. A human face is symmetrical. Okay, so here I come and I draw the person's eye, something that looks like a V, and just put in the eye. And again, it comes through practice, but it also comes through close observation. You know, observing people in reality. How does a person look when you view them from the side? And that is key. Okay. And that is my rule of thumb. That is what guides me in most cases. The reality. And I look at the person from side on, what do I see? And if you look carefully at what I'm doing, what you see here is what actually happens in the real world. This is what you see in the real world, okay? And here we're gonna give this this figure some lips. And again, lips, they come in a whole range of sizes, shapes, and so on. Okay, this is just one variation. And now I'm going to draw the person's. I'm going to draw their ears. Okay, their ear rather, because we're only looking at it from the side of view, so we only see one ear. Okay, but again, ear, the top of the ear is well lined up with the top of the person's eyes, and the bottom of the person's ear is well lined up with the bottom of the person's their nose. And our drawing is finished. I'm sure I've seen this guy somewhere before. And this is the stage where you just get to do some more practice. And we're going to draw another portrait of a person from a frontal view. And just use this opportunity just to get some more practice. I told you, practice is important in drawing. It is key to becoming a really, really good artist. And we're going to do some more smudging. And I just said, we don't just want an outline of a figure, but we want to give it some body. We want to make it as real as possible, because there's so many different things that you can do with a pencil. It will just blow your mind. So we're going to do some shading here, and then when we finish, we're going to get our fingers dirty. And we're going to give this person a nice smudge to make them look as real as possible. Our drawing is finished now, but please join us again soon for our next episode of Drawing 101. See you later.